It's going to be a record-breaking year in Yellowstone for crowds. So if you have plans to visit Yellowstone, here are my 4 tips. Tip 1, get the Yellowstone app. The Yellowstone app is different from the National Parks app, and it has a lot of features that will make your trip more enjoyable and more productive. Once you upload the app, be sure and open it up so you can download all the features into it. You need to have Wi-Fi or cell service to be able to do that, and you want to make sure that you do that before you get into the park because cell phone service is very spotty in the park. You can use the Yellowstone app to navigate your time in the park. For example, the app gives you descriptions and photos of all the items of interest in the park that you might want to see. It also has a real-time map that shows you all the locations of the areas of interest, and it also gives you a little red dot to show you where you are in relationship to those attractions. So you can see if you're coming up on something that you'd really like to see, and you might know where to stop. So you are the little red dot on the map, and you can see when you're coming up to, let's say, Old Faithful. It was so crowded when we were there that we used this feature to find adjacent parking lots that we could park in because the parking fills up really fast. So if you can park in an adjacent parking lot, then you can walk over to the area of interest. Now, watch out for bears, because Doug did that. He traveled on a path that wasn't well used, and he woke up a sleeping bear, so be careful about that. So one example of how we used that feature was the parking lot in Grand Prismatic was completely full, but there was an adjacent lot not very far away from there that we parked in, and we were able to walk from that lot over to the Grand Prismatic and see that. Another nice feature about that is you can set and save locations on the app. So it gives you a little yellow indicator on there of the area that you've saved. So as you're driving around, you can see on your phone, which is, mine isn't very big, where to stop. So you can mark areas of interest and save them for easy access and easy location as you're driving through the park. One of the features of the app is that it gives you approximate times for the geysers, so you're not wasting your time sitting around waiting for the geyser or trying to find out when the geyser is going to happen like we did the first time for Old Faithful. So what you do is you open up the app, so you have to have Wi-Fi or cell phone service available to download the most recent times that the geysers are going to erupt, and it will give them to you in order, which is really nice, in order of time. That way you can make the most out of your day. It's a large park and you want to see as much as you can, and I'm telling you, it's busier than Disneyland right now. It's like, I don't know, 9:30 in the morning, and it is a zoo. It's Tuesday, it's the middle of June. I'm gonna probably have to walk a half a mile just to get to the trailhead. Tip 2. Get up early. I know, I hate getting up early. Really, I hate it. But we got up 4:35 a.m. in order to get into the park by 6 a.m. every morning. That gave us about 3 to 4 hours before things started getting really crowded. And I'm telling you, you can spend a couple days, 3, 4, 5 days, if you want to see everything there is in the park. Now, if you want to do that with fewer crowds, because it's not going to be crowd free, but if you want to do it with fewer crowds, get up and get in the park. If you can get in there by 5 a.m., that would give you 4 or 5 hours to see everything. And in the summertime, there's lots of daylight. It's light pretty much at 5 a.m. or you're driving through and then it'll become light as you drive through. Plus, you have access to more animals. You'll see a lot more animals in the park if you're up early in the morning. So there's 2 reasons to get up early. But the most, like I said, the most important reason is to avoid the crowds. It was so worth it for us to get up early. All the entrances, once they open up for the season, they are open 24/7. So you don't have to worry about not being able to get in. You can get in anytime, 24/7, in, out. The other thing I was going to say about was the lines getting into the park. So if you wait until 9 or 10 o'clock to get in the park like everybody else does, you could be waiting an hour in the line just to get inside the park. It's really crazy in the summer, and it's really bad this year. Tip 3. If you're camping outside the park, and it's very hard to get campsites inside Yellowstone right now, unless you've booked way in advance, or you have some kind of an app like CampNab. Now, if you're camped outside the park like we were in the north entrance. The north entrance, the east entrance, and the northeast entrance are the easiest to access the park. Now, the north entrance is not that far from the attractions that you'll want to see. The west entrance is the closest to the geysers and the paint pots and all those kinds of things. So, of course, it's the busiest entrance, probably followed by the south entrance because people are coming up from Grand Tetons. So I recommend that you avoid the west entrance if you can, if you're camping outside. And we did find a campground that was right outside the north entrance that we camped at and had really easy access to get in and out and didn't have to wait in line. Now, I'll tell you, I know that the west entrance was busy because we did drive through. There are a lot of restaurants and places like that in the west entrance. So we did drive through there to eat, and we saw the lines coming in when we drove out, and it was horrible. So I recommend that you avoid it, or if you're planning on camping outside the west entrance, or if you're going in or out of the west entrance, I recommend that you go there on off times. And when I'm talking about off time, I'm talking about before 8 a.m. and after 5 p.m. That would be my best guess about when you would want to go in and out that west entrance. It was terrible. So like I mentioned, if you want to get that coveted campsite inside the park and you didn't reserve 6 months in advance, like the people that did get them, try CampNab. CampNab is a service that finds cancellations to campgrounds, and so that might be one way that you could find a campsite. The other options for campsites in the park are to wait in line, first come, first serve, and we didn't want to spend our time doing that, so we just camped outside the park. Tip 4, buy an online pass. It's $80. It's $35 to get into Yellowstone. Now, we went to Grand Tetons, Yellowstone, and Glacier just in this trip, so we already paid for our pass. Plus we went to Craters of the Moon, and that was $20, so we way paid for our pass. But the thing about having the pass, it will get you in faster. And when you're going into Yellowstone, they will want also your ID, so you'll have to show your pass with the back with your signature on it and your ID. Oh, and we also used our pass in Death Valley this year, so that's 5 times that we've used that park pass. It was so worth the $80 that I paid for it. So obviously we just got back from Yellowstone. If you have any questions about Yellowstone that you think that I might be able to answer, please put a comment below. If you're having a hard time finding a campsite, check out my video on CampNab. It explains the best way to use CampNab and how you can get one of those coveted campsites. If you'd like to check out Death Valley in the fall, like we did, check out this video. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe so you can see more content like this.